Welcome to the Gorgeous Gamer. Today on Exercise Basics 101, the reverse dip, aka the bench dip. Dips strengthen the muscles of the tricep, chest, and shoulders and are quite easy to scale and modify until ultimately they can help you increase your total upper body strength. This will help you with more challenging moves like our push-up. Sadly, this move can get a really bad rap from incorrect form and bro science labeling it as a shoulder shredder, which can be the case. But like any move, if done with proper form, there are a lot of benefits to it. Let's take a look.
Muscles working. Triceps, chest, shoulders, lats, traps, and depending on the variation used, core. Benefits. When executed properly, the reverse dip is fantastic for developing the triceps, chest, and shoulders. But why bother with the dip if the push-up already activates the exact same muscle groups? Well, the variance is at the range of motion, and it will help us focus on the lower chest muscles, which, unless you're doing an incline push-up, won't highlight the same way. Also, you're working muscles, but you're working in a different plane of motion, vertical versus horizontal. For muscular balance, specifically with preventative injury in mind, we want to work all planes of motion equally. With modifications, a reverse dip can be done by anyone, even someone who has never worked out before or someone struggling to do the harder moves like a push-up. This is a great move to actually build strength towards some of those harder moves. Form. Set yourself up on a bench, chair, or even a piece of furniture like your couch. If you're using the couch, use the frame, not the cushions to support your wrist. Hands should be by your hips and can be one of two positions. They can be turned out, which helps posture and keeping the shoulders externally rotated versus collapsing, or your hands can be at the edge of the bench facing forward. Move your butt so it's hovering off whatever you're using for your dips. Don't go too far away. You should still be close to the edge with your butt and back. Legs are straight, or an easier version is legs bent. Bend at your elbows, pointing your elbows back, not flaring out. We want to drop the hips down by bending at the elbow joints. Hips should go down and up, not in a diagonal movement away from the bench. Lower till your arms are at about 90 degrees, never past that, and then push back up to top. At the top of the move, you should be engaged in the triceps, but never hyperextended or locked out. No bouncing or pop locking into the joints. Shoulders should be down, away from the ears, no shrugging. Shoulders should also be back and not hunched forward or rolled and collapsing into the chest. Modifications. The main modification you might need to do with this move is when dealing with a lack of strength. If you find that straight legs out in front of you is too challenging, simply bend your legs to 90 degrees so you can help with your legs as you come back up and guide yourself as you go down. Like the push-up, we are always aiming for a full range of motion. Otherwise, we're not really reaping the benefits of the move, so don't shortchange yourself by just jumping to the harder version. There is nothing wrong with using a bent leg position for dips. At first, you might find that your range of motion is shorter, and again, this is okay. We just need to stretch into the shoulders a little bit more. Guys especially tend to be much more tight in the shoulders. Another modification we can do is, especially if you don't have a bench, is to set yourself up using the floor. The floor doesn't allow for us to get as great of a range of motion, but it really does truly isolate the tricep versus hitting parts of the chest like a bench dip would. However, again, incredibly beneficial for building strength if this is the option we have to go to. What you're going to do is just start in a seated position, place your hands just behind your hips. Your hands don't have to be in any specific position, whatever's comfortable for your wrist. For me, a forward or partial turned out is best. Pick up your hips, drive through your heels. Don't thrust your hips to the sky. This is not a glute raise or a back bend. You want them just enough so you're just off the floor so you can bend at the elbow joints to touch your butt to the ground. The higher you lift your hips up, the greater the range of motion. Again, we will never be coming into a reverse tabletop though. If we're new to working out, we ideally don't want to throw a push up and a dip on the same day. These will be working the same muscle groups back to back, and what's going to happen is whichever move is second, we'll likely see a decrease in not only the quality of the move, so our form might suffer, but also the quantity or number of reps that we can actually perform. We also don't want this to be a superset where we are doing 10 push-ups and then immediately following for 10 dips. This is great for strength training and endurance training, but again, if we are new to working out, whatever move is second is likely going to not get the same benefits as the first. So try throwing this onto another day to start with. We want to shoot for at least 10 reps, slowly increasing towards the number of 20. To start working out, try maybe 5 or 10 reps aiming for 2 to 3 sets. When you can do this, start increasing the number of reps per set. Or drop a set altogether, but increase the number of reps. For example, instead of doing 3 sets of 10, try 2 sets of 15.